All right. That's fine. Oh, it almost makes it look like I'm your height. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Andrew. This is Brayden.
LOLO.
And this is...
the ExtraAmo podcast.
Yes, it is.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, we're not doing that anymore.
Oh, sorry.
So that's going to have to be the intro.
You're welcome, America.
I'm kidding. We're doing an intro. Here we go. All right. So this evening we are at La Casa de Brayden.
This is my office. It's not as cool as yours, but it's getting there.
It's definitely getting there. We have two separate folding desks that have arrived.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, it'd be cool for, when we're cutting videos for me to have a place. And so I ordered one that didn't show up. So I refunded it and I ordered another one. And then the first one showed up. So, hey, the internet is making secondary desks a possibility, which is nice because I got my laptop set up over there and I've got this set up here, and
it does make it easier, to be honest.
Well, yes, but also your significant other has confirmed I do not have to pay rent. Is that
correct? So far you don't have to pay rent.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get 2 or 3 more desks in here and see what she thinks.
Yeah, I think eventually if a bureau shows up, she might make you pay rent.
But like, if we're gonna do a lot of podcasts, I might want extra,
true.
costumes or outfits, and I mean, it's only reasonable.
Yeah, I feel like it's fair.
Because like a drawer might not be enough, so
I barely get a drawer, so I don't know why you would get one.
It was one of those things. It was like we have guests over and like they can do things that the family can't do. It'd be like that.
You have that many friends? I don't. You're my only guest, so.
I meant more like the colloquial.
Oh.
When there are guests over, you like let them break the rules a little bit.
I don't know. No.
Well, I haven't been following any of your rules.
Yeah.
So here we are. But anyways, what did I wanted to talk about something tonight. And I thought it was kind of important. And then I was having a conversation in the gun store today, and I realized that there's actually kind of like a lot of different ways to approach this opinion I have about binary triggers and forced reset triggers. And obviously, you were there. Yeah. I'm a big fan of certain triggers. I like a forced reset trigger. Obviously, the video on the Kuna, which I've got here, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And I made some changes, so probably maybe it's time for another video because I've changed some stuff around. Restless PCC, restless pistol caliber carbine syndrome. But I think that there's a pretty clear line in this space between those that are, I would say, safe or safe-ish, and those that I would consider not safe.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that. And I started mentioning that to somebody today, and they're like, I don't know, like, it's fine.
But is it?
Well, I don't know, right? And I like to think I'm right every time. So I mean, I guess realistically, I do think I'm right most of the time. But I have on a occasion or two changed my mind because of obviously new opinion. I wasn't wrong the first time. I got I got new information, right, and the calculus of truth changed. So I was never really wrong. I just, but no, I'm the worst. But no, so here's the thing. We talked about it on the podcast last time. We talked about an obsession with safety. Now we've got 2 pistols in front of us that may or may not be exactly in frame. We're testing some new equipment here, guys. The bokeh, we decided that's how you say it. The bokeh effect is now in lens. It's not fake. I'm not using an iPhone anymore. I've got a Sony camera. So if you like it, comment below. Or if you don't like it, comment below. Or if you have opinions on what camera I should use, even though I've already bought a camera and I'll be disappointed if it's not the one I bought, please comment below. Subscribe. And, I don't know. What else are they supposed to do?
Notifications.
Yes, turn on the hit the
notifications.
bell icon and get the notifications.
Please.
That's important.
And then, Andrew, where can these lovely people hear our lovely voices other than YouTube?
Well, everywhere. Spotify's the big one
Spotify.
because I like Spotify.
Yeah.
But Apple Podcasts, that
Podcasts.
was a big for a while. Maybe it still is. I don't know. I know you can find the ExtraAmo podcast there.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Amazon Music as well.
Yeah.
And potentially some others.
But you got your 4 majors: YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Sorry, I don't know why I want to say Apple Music, but
I don't know why anybody would ever want to say those words.
Spotify and Amazon Music. Right?
That is correct. That is correct. I think you could actually ask Alexa to play the ExtraAmo podcast. I haven't tried it, and if you're listening on a speaker right now, perhaps your Alexa just did it.
Yeah.
Maybe you're hearing me twice, or like an echo.
Siri person, but that's fine.
Well, I'm sorry. But what did I want to talk about today? We got a gun in the shop, and it, from the outside, looked like a regular pistol. In fact, actually, we've got it right here. It's a Glock 17, Gen 5, and we took it apart. We cleaned it. We test fired.
Yeah.
We do that all the time, right?
Yep.
And then when we went to shoot into, we have this little snail thing that you can shoot into, safely test rounds into. Well, it fired, and then when the trigger was released, it fired again. Mm-hmm. Right? And our staff person's opinion was that, okay, this gun is bump firing, right? This gun has something wrong with it. And he came to that conclusion after being very, very concerned about the fact that he intended to fire 1 round, but more than 1 round was fired.
Yep.
So what did we do? We took the firearm aside. I'm pretty familiar with Glocks, so it was given to me to look at, and I took the slide off. I looked at the trigger. I pulled the trigger out, and I was like, this looks like a regular trigger. Mm-hmm. It really hard to tell the difference. The only thing I will say about this, and we'll get into what it is, but it actually kind of looks not like a Gen 5 trigger. It looks more like a Gen 3-4 trigger because of the spring internally.
Curve, yeah.
Oh, no, I actually mean inside.
Oh, the inside.
Yep, the inside.
Even the outside.
So right in the rear, there's a little spring.
Yeah.
That's more indicative of the older style. Mm-hmm. And of course, you can have various different types of triggers and various different types of Glocks. I'm not the expert in all Glock triggers, but when I looked at it, I was like, okay, that's maybe a little off, but it still looked to me like a standard trigger. Come to find out, it's not a standard trigger. It is the G-Flex binary trigger. And you know what a binary trigger is, right? How's a binary trigger work, Brayden?
So, when you showing everyone who's watching the podcast that the firearm is clear, and we are going to do this without the magazine. So, from my understanding, for a binary trigger works, I've only had a little bit of experience shooting them with you and doing the Kuna video and all that stuff. When the trigger is pulled, you got that click, jets the shell out, reloads, and as soon as you press, it goes again.
Yeah, so on the release. So one on the press, one on the release is how a lot of people describe it, right?
Yep.
So binary triggers are cool, right? I've got one in a 1022. I've got one in a CZ Scorpion.
Yeah.
Neat, right? Before forced reset triggers, binary triggers were like that, kind of getting towards closer to full auto in rate of fire, maybe. I don't want to go down that route right now, but it can, for some people, allow them to shoot the gun faster. That's probably the best way to say it without getting anybody in trouble.
Yeah.
And it was a thing. And most of them are either very obvious from the outside, very obviously discernible from the outside, or they change some functionality of the gun so that you have the ability to select between them.
Yeah.
So what I've got here is actually a Gen 3 Glock with the Franklin Armory, perhaps you can see there, Franklin Armory slide that allows this to function as a binary trigger as well.
Yep.
And in much the same way that this does. Now, you'll notice on the side here there is a selector, right? So you do have the single shot, so it behaves very much like your traditional Glock, like the way you would expect it. And then when you flip it down, that's in binary mode. So in this mode, yes, you press the trigger, click, and then rack the slide. Now, of course, I did not pull the magazine out, but rack the slide here, boom, and then release. And this one actually has an audible click, and then another fire. Another fire. So, 2 ways to do the binary thing.
With the Franklin, I know you talked about the slide, but with the Franklin, don't you also have to change out the trigger as well?
Yes. So it's trigger, slide. It's a whole conversion kit. This one, I believe, is just the trigger.
Understanding.
I didn't actually inspect the upper to see if there's any sort of trip in there. I don't think there is, because I think
YouTube's.
Right, we're not disassembling anything.
Nope.
We have another one under the table that has already been actually taken apart. So we're just going to pull that out so that you guys can see the that one.
Oh yeah! Wow! Look at that! Pull it right out of the thing for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was right in there in the box. So
this looks just like a normal Lot 17.
Yeah. So why do I bring this up and why do I care? Obviously, I like these types of devices. I think they're important. I think that we have a right to own them and a right to install them. But I was mentioning in store today to somebody that, like, I considered this G-Flex, where there's no way to determine externally, 1, and then 2, switch it between a traditional firing mode and the sort of advanced or enhanced firing mode. I think that's dangerous.
For the moment that happened to the team member, it's dangerous. Like there's no markings on this trigger whatsoever that shows that it's a different brand. Like if you know just the generic basics of what a Glock looks like, this looks like a Glock 17 trigger. Like I like, even myself, I remember seeing this gun come in. And like I remember tagging it and putting it on the cleaning deck, and it just looked like a normal 17 to me. I didn't think anything of it, you know. So like it can be very dangerous. Like whereas the Franklin Armory one here, it's all labeled up. Like you can clearly tell that it's a special type of thing for this Glock. Like it's not a generic looking or not generic looking ODM. Was it OEM?
Original equipment from the manufacturer? Equipment manufacturer, I think. Yeah.
But like, just to anybody, this looks like a normal.
Hey, it looks like a Glock 17. And now we get things at the gun store, and it's not always directly from a customer. Sometimes it's from other FFLs, sometimes it's from other entities in our business, and sometimes we'll buy things. We'll buy things from somebody who is, my spouse has passed away, right? My brother, my friend has passed away, and I've got this thing and I need to get rid of it. So it's not always the person who made these modifications even selling it to us.
Yeah.
Right? Now, of course, I went to a whole company meeting the other evening. I actually brought this up. I am training all of the other persons that handle firearms in our overarching business in how we deal with these things and test for them. So yes, this is a positive, right?
Yeah.
It's a learning moment
that
we can learn from. But where my concern lies in this is that I don't want to be construed as somebody who thinks that, force reset triggers shouldn't be allowed, right? I'm certainly not saying that. I'm not saying that these binary triggers should be restricted in any way. But we got to be responsible here, people. We'd be responsible because I might think, hey, you know what? I can modify mine and no one's ever going to, know because I'm the only one who shoots my guns. And I get hit by a bus and, my wife finds this thing and she understands how a regular gun operates.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe she needs to use it. Maybe she, there's a coyote in my yard going after my dog and she grabs the thing and then rat-tat-tat-tat-tat and a terrible accident has occurred.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen because I don't want these things to be limited because somebody does something accidentally. Nobody who's touched this gun since I was aware of its existence was not a gun person, was not somebody who was incredibly safe, following all the rules, and very competent. And yet still, I was like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's impossible to tell the difference unless, every Glock I ever touch, I take it apart and I count the grooves on the side of the trigger bar. And by the way, on the G-Flex website, right, most of the pictures are actually of like a version that doesn't have those grooves. But if you go and search for more pictures, you'll find that the Gen 5 actually has those. So it's not even easy, even then, to
you
tell.
have to like deep dive it.
I really had to do some research to figure it out. But then I started thinking about this, right? And this is sort of where I'm, I want your opinion beyond just sort of what I'm thinking and how I came to this, which is I've got this Kuna, right? And you guys have seen this on the channel before. Springfield Kuna with the Atrius Super Selector in it, right? Now that's a 3-position, right? So it's got safety. It's got a traditional fire mode.
Yep.
I won't call it semi-automatic because it's all semi-automatic. But there's a traditional fire mode and then a firing mode that allows for me to pull the trigger faster, right?
Yep.
The forced reset. Go watch my other videos if you need to know what that's about. And I was thinking, well, is this safe? But then I got, to really sort of deep diving here. And potentially somebody could put that into that 3rd position and not know about it, shoot a little bit faster than they want. So maybe this is a little bit less safe. But I don't really want to say that. And I don't really want to say that because I don't think that modifying these things in this way really makes them any, on their core, less safe.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about it too, and it's like, all right, cool. So somebody who cannot handle actuating a safety into multiple positions probably doesn't have the acumen to have a firearm in their hands and understand the difference between safety and semi to begin with.
Yeah.
Right? And when you have that whole additional click, that whole additional functionality, I would say that's another step in the direction of having, I guess an indicator. Something here is different from what you're normally used to. And yeah, there are definitely people who, no matter what you do, are not gonna see the signs, right? But along the same vein, they could put a 50 BMG into a 12 gauge, which you can actually seat the thing.
Oh, who
right?
did that?
I want to say Brayden Herrera did it because, or
I think Grantham did it,
or Demolition Ranch.
I think all of them did it.
Let's just keep listing YouTube videos. So like maybe it was like Brass Facts, or maybe it was Hop, or maybe it was
so they'll follow us.
It probably wasn't like Gary Michalak or like Lena Michalak. It probably wasn't one.
I know Micah hasn't done it yet. So.
Oh, there's Micah Mayfield, and then.
But no, I totally hear what you're saying though. From my opinion, right, as a person who doesn't have a lot of experience shooting these types of triggers or these types of setups, I personally feel more comfortable with how your Kuna's set up and how this Franklin Armory is. Because that way, if it's like, most scenario here is we're out at the range, right? You're loading up the Nets Mad, and you're like, nope, go for it, Brayden. Go take your shots. I'll load up my rounds, whatever. I can look at both those guns and immediately know, okay, this is safe, this is semi, this is shoot my trigger faster, right? And then, but even on this Franklin Armory where we have that little nub there, I can definitely tell, okay, this is semi, this is shoot the trigger faster. Perfect.
Okay.
But for this one, I have no indication here. Like, if you did not explain that to me, like, I would have no idea.
Right.
Right? And, you've taught me multiple different ways of what's the best way to holster, pull, do all the normal safety stuff when we're on the range. But, like, this is just, I don't know. It would make me nervous. Like, if I did not know that was a special thing.
Right. And
not saying I don't like them. I love shooting them. Don't get me wrong. But like, not marking, I don't know, is
Right.
Little.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that disturbs me about this too, beyond just the markings and not knowing, is that with this one, and most, I would say, quality binary triggers. Now, we're kind of blending two things. We got binary and you got forced reset, right? There's a bunch of different types of forced reset. You've got super safeties, you've got the Atreus super selector, and you've got the true rare breed forced reset trigger, or the Delta Team tactical through position clone. On a binary, if you pull the trigger and you've got that first actuation, right? The first function of the trigger, right? Single function of the trigger. The secondary function releases it. On most of these, if you actually move it from the binary mode, right, you can discontinue or cancel that second shot. There's no way to do that on this.
Yeah.
Now, could you presumably continue holding that trigger, drop the magazine, and then maybe rack the round out?
Yeah.
I'm sure you could. Those are a lot of steps that would be, in any real application of the firearm. It would be really challenging. Even on flat range, like to make all that happen. And I would be very, very concerned. Much like dropping the hammer on a revolver on a live round, or dropping the hammer on a double action that doesn't have a decocker. It just makes me very, very uncomfortable because of the potential to slip, drop that, what have you. So that's in the binary space. When we're talking about the forced resets, you had mentioned, I'm going to call them out here. So, here we go. You mentioned, hey, you should get one of those Taurus TX22.
Oh, that thing was sick.
Yeah, you know that there's no way to tell from the outside and there's no semi-auto mode. It's just full send all the time?
I kind of figured that when I originally was doing more of a look to it. And, we talked about that too when I brought that up. Because it was just a super cool, because the person was doing it. It's all 22, so it's quiet. It's quieter. Then he had it suppressed. And it was just a cool little, fun plinking toy is basically how I saw it, right? But you brought that up. It's exactly the same as this. You brought it up. You're like, I'm not sure I feel I like that because there's no indicator. I can't switch it. It's only that, and I don't know if I like that.
And I think at the time, now I'm thinking safety, right? And I'm really getting into this, and I'm thinking, okay, well, what the F? Because safety matters, obviously, from our use case, but also because I might not be the only one ever holding this.
Yeah.
I think that my guns will only be mine, but if, again, I get hit by a bus, right? You're going to be helping, my significant other get rid of all these scary things, and there's going to be a lot of NFA paperwork that has to be filed immediately, and I hope you help her out. Maybe you can take a couple of them. I'm sure she'd let you pick, get your choice. But regardless of that,
I want the Genesis.
Oh, yeah. That's not even an NFA firearm, actually. But.
Well, come on. I don't know.
Well, it's a
suppressor.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Anyway, my point being that I could sit here and say, well, yeah, no one's ever going to shoot my guns, but who knows?
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want it to become a situation where, because we really wanted to shoot a 22 real fast, all forced reset triggers are off the table now.
Yeah.
Right? And, and when I go down this, when I was talking about the TX22, I think where I came from originally was just, I'm not going to have this thing that's not selectable because there's no practical use.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of practical uses for 22 suppressed and unsuppressed for dealing with pests in your yard, predators even. Coyote probably would be the I don't want to use a 22 long rifle. People disagree on that, but I would say that's the thing. But if you're dealing with a porcupine or something going after chickens, raccoon even, 22s can do that. Are there maybe better tools? Sure, we could have a long conversation about that, but a suppressed 22 is actually an effective hunting tool, right? Emergency situation.
Yeah.
You've got the Henry survival rifle. That was a breakdown 22, and I don't know how useful it was or how often it was used, but the idea was that a pilot or somebody on a boat or whatever would have this 22 and be able to hunt. Even if it was a small bird, small animal, they could provide for themselves.
It was meant to just get you to survive.
Right.
That's what it was.
And 22 is maybe not the best thing for hunting a deer with, but there was a rather large bear, if I remember the story correctly, that was shot. I want to say it was a brown bear, a grizzly bear with a 22. There's it was a very famous. It was shot through the side of the head. It was a woman who shot it. I believe it was actually one of the heavier bears that was ever published. But
What?
it was a.
I've never heard this
Oh,
story.
absolutely, absolutely.
Oh my God.
It was one of the bigger bears. Now, I think because of the time, I want to say it was very early 1900s. Perhaps there was some exaggeration of the weight of the bear that maybe padded the story.
I mean,
Fact of the matter
I'll go
is-
out with you. We want to beat the record. I'll go out with you.
Yeah, well, it's
But
just
I'm gonna bring it back up.
yeah, like polar bear. You want to take a polar bear with a 22? Yeah,
We both know I do very well in the cold.
you do
You know,
very
body fat.
you do very well complaining about the cold when we're inside your house and it's warm.
Hey, yeah. So what? I have my slippers on, but like, feetsies are cold.
Hey, were you? I mean, not to call you out here, man, but were you complaining earlier about a video we were mocking together because you could see my breath?
I did say that. I was like, I said to Andrew, because he gives me days off as his non-paid cameraman, and I'm watching the videos so I can see the lineup, and he walks by the camera. All I saw was his breath, and I'm like, oh, I hate that. I just saw your breath. That's terrible. I'm not a cold person. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like the cold, but I've come to accept the cold. Right?
Yes.
Because here's the thing. We live in Maine. It's cold up here. It's getting to the cold season. But like I said the other day, well, it's getting dark early, so I can play with night vision.
Yep.
Though none of you went and watched the night vision video. It's one of the worst videos I've ever put up. So what's up with that? If you want more night vision content, you gotta watch the bad videos to get the good videos. Guys.
Hold on. Pause. Time out here. Time out. It's not a bad video. It's a better night vision video that I have watched, because all the other night vision stuff I've seen on the interwebs, not saying names or anything like that, but they don't show stuff well enough, or they don't talk. And it drives me bananas, because if you go watch the video, you do a good job of explaining what you're doing, because bear in mind you, it's a GoPro, nods, and then you see Andrew and nods. So he's explaining to you stuff so you understand what stuff is. So I don't know much about night vision. I really don't. All I know is I can put over my eyes and then I have all the power because I can see shit in the dark.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I don't understand what you have to do to get there, to set it all up, get all the rights. I wasn't even thinking that you were gonna film in the dark. I was wondering how you were gonna do it.
Well, realistically, what it is I have very little time because I am busy as all get up. So I was like, well, okay, cool. Well, I can't go film a video during the day when I don't get home until 9 p.m. But you know what I can do? Some night vision stuff. But yeah, no, you're right. It's harder. It's a cool thing to go.
It's a hard thing to film, and I think it was a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. Yeah, you keep getting better at it. I don't. How did we get on this?
I'm not sure.
But hey, go watch my other videos.
Take this time, think about it, be like, oh hey, what are they talking about? And just be like, yo, yeah, let's watch these other videos that Andrew and Brayden made.
Yeah, we're super chills for that. But honestly, I have tried really hard in all of these videos to reply to just about all the comments.
Yeah.
So some of them are just kind of a little mean or a little I don't know what you're trying to say, so I ignore the ones that are, if your punctuation is bad or you're speaking in Russian.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what to say or how to respond, but for the most part, I try to reply to the comments. So if you do have suggestions or questions or comments or, just want to say hi, comments really help the algorithm, which I think is a cool thing. But when we were talking about these, we're talking about the super safeties, and we're talking about these things and all of that. I get to kind of thinking about it, and I'm not sure I really like the super safety anymore. Like your traditional crossbody super safety, which is the arm, the 3D printable one.
Yes. Yeah.
Because even if you know what you're doing, it's kind of hard to know what mode you're in. And if you were to grab that quickly and get it perfectly in that middle super safe thing, because
was that the one that you first had me test out?
yeah,
Right? Because like when Andrew had me test it out in our shoe butts at the shop, I got ready, I put it in the shoe box, and then Andrew's teaching me, guiding me through it, and I clicked once, but I pushed too much, and I clicked twice, and you were like, well, hold on.
Yeah, that's
You
now
went
in semi
too far.
mode or traditional mode,
Yeah.
perhaps is the way to phrase it.
That I can kind of understand, because even I got confused, and you
Well,
literally
so-
stood there and explained it to me, and I was like, hold on.
But maybe I'm being silly, and so like a lot of my use and what I love is the AR-15, and I keep coming back to this, but AK-47, right?
Yeah.
AK has got a sort of like a paddle safety, like a flipper safety, right? And a bunch of different ways to articulate it, and even like some of the cool arsenals like have a thumb way to articulate,
Yes,
sort of
yeah.
like the Galils or the Galil Ace, the new ones. So that's kind of cool. But what a lot of people don't know is how that safety selector sort of works, is that you've got safe, you've got full auto, and then you've got semi.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would say, oh, well, the idea was that if you're in a real, I don't know what I'm doing, situation, you just flip it all the way down and then you'd be on semi so as to not get full auto or you just shoot all your magazine when you're freaking out. It requires a little bit more control to get that back up into this to full automatic.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said of that. There is historical precedent for that. The difference being on an AK, there's 3 divots. It's marked on the side of the receiver.
Yeah.
What those divots do, even if it's in Russian, but you might speak Russian, so hey, so there you
figure
go.
it out.
Versus some of these devices where even if they are 3-position, like the super safety, which a lot of people have acquired for small or large amounts of money. I know a lot of gun shows are selling them. We don't, as a shop, really go to gun shows.
Nope.
But you get these things and you put them in, and now the markings on the side of your AR-15 receiver, where it's like, okay, and if you've got one of the cool ones where it's like semi or safe, semi, and full auto, well, most people the selector would only go from safe to semi.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like, okay, whatever, you got the full auto markings there, but you can't use it. You put in a super safety, and the markings mean nothing.
Yeah.
So, is that a good idea? Yeah, and I guess in my point simply being is how likely is it that these are going to fall into the wrong hands? I mean, I thought incredibly unlikely.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, guys, we talk about these things. I believe that they are legal. I believe under the letter of the law. I mean, realistically, the Second Amendment means all gun laws are unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Not to get up on my soapbox, but everything should be legal from the get-go. But I believe my understanding of binary and force reset triggers is that they adhere to the definition the ATF created for themselves.
Yeah.
For meeting the category of the qualifications to be semi-automatic. When you look at that, there should be no problems there. But the people who are illegally modifying Glocks, like we see with the California thing, right? Everybody's all up in arms because California's blocking Glocks, and they think that that's why Glock is moving on to the Gen V, which is the Roman numeral for 5, which is incredibly confusing.
Yeah.
So I mean, so what's up with that?
Would you want to talk about that?
I mean, a little bit.
Okay. I already have a problem. Like, I like Glock. I have a couple of Glocks, and I like them. I like them a lot. They shoot good, whatever. What I don't like is that they freaking label them so weird. So right, you got Glock 17 here, right? I open my safe. I pull out my Glock 47, right? Mm-hmm. Same gun, just 30 numbers higher, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why wouldn't you just make And then to your point, I'm gonna get on my soapbox now.
Okay, all right, no, please get right up on there.
I just, it's a little one, so I'm so tall already. But I cannot stand that they're possibly gonna name these net slots the Glock V because it's the room minimum for 5. We're already on 5 now. Yes, though, to the point, 45, 47, those newer ones that came out don't have a gen on them because they're new to that.
Yes.
Right? So you have the Gen 5, 26, 17, 19.
Yeah. I mean, so there is that. And they've gone, I think, back and forth on actually putting the gens on things. I think the first time they do something new, they don't put the gen.
Yeah.
But then when it existed again, or if they do a reprint. And there's actually a lot of cool stuff with the Glocks. Like, the first version of the Gen 5s didn't have the grooves in the side.
Yeah.
And there's idiosyncrasies there. Idiosyncrasies there. I agree with you on the naming convention, though, right? I mean, and I just think from a caliber standpoint, somebody comes in and they say, I want a Glock 9, right? That's easy. I can tell they want a Glock in 9mm, right? But they say, hey, I want a Glock 45. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, 9mm. No, it shoots a 45.
Yeah.
All right.
Glock?
Well, hey, I really
21?
I really want a Glock 44. I'd be like, well, hold on. You want a Glock 22? No, I don't want a Glock 40.
Yeah.
Right? And so it gets really, really confusing.
It does.
Right? You get Glock 21, that's 45. And you get a Glock, and so all of these things.
Glock.
A Glock 40 doesn't
20.
shoot 40.
And a Glock 20 is 10 mil, right?
Yeah. So it's a Glock 40.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
Yeah. But a Glock 30 is 45. And a 32.
Do you think they have this many problems naming their horse semen too?
Oh, we're not supposed to talk about that. A lot of people get banned and blocked for that. So
my bad.
Yeah, we're sorry. We're sorry, Mrs. Mrs. used
Glock
to be
person.
guesting a lock.
Glock lady of ours.
But yeah, that's a whole weird thing. I mean, how does that come to be? But regardless, you're right. I mean, there's some weird naming conventions there for sure. I don't know. So I guess the real thing I'm looking at is that I didn't think this was going to be a problem until it was a problem for me, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing that, it's these things, it's like we can joke about it. We can joke about, the Glock 44 is a Glock 22, the Glock 22 is a Glock 40, and the Glock 40 is a Glock 10. It's just, whoa, right?
Bang my head against the wall.
And that's all well and good until somebody buys something, puts the wrong ammunition into it, and has an accident, right?
And we had that happen.
Yeah. So I think when you look at these things, it's really easy for us to say, hey, I know what I'm doing. Hey, I can mitigate that danger, right? Or that perceived threat, or real threat. I can mitigate it with my knowledge. But I guess now I'm looking at it as, all right, cool. Well, you can mitigate it as long as it's under your control. And there's a huge amount of assumption that it's always going to be under your control. And if it isn't, and these get into the wrong hands, and again, like when I say the wrong hands, realistically, what I normally mean by that is the people who are illegally modifying these to be actually machine guns.
Yeah.
Right. What I mean in this instance is somebody who just doesn't know how to use it properly.
Yeah.
And because they don't know how to use it properly, they could potentially cause an accident, or maybe cause is the wrong word here, be present for an accident, be a participant in an accident. And I don't want legislature or public opinion on these things to change because we played it too fast and loose. So I'm not a big proponent of this particular binary trigger, and I'm really not a big proponent of the Taurus TX22 binary. I think it is ripe for something to happen, for it to get into a used gun store, a pawn shop, where they don't really know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Somebody buys it, they shoot up the side of their apartment, they go through the wall, and some innocent person gets hit. And then we hear about these, well, this is why, a forced reset trigger shouldn't be legal. And I don't think that's a fair justification, nor do I think that any of this is justification to make these things not lawful.
Correct.
How this came to be in my possession, somebody dropped the ball, right? Now, was it their own fault? I don't know. I don't know if this came into a pawn shop or another store, got transferred. I'm not really exactly sure how it came to be here. And perhaps it was totally the negligence of the person who installed it. Or maybe they gave it to somebody, didn't know what, they explained it to them, they didn't care enough to internalize it, and then they sold it. I don't know what happened.
This literally just of how all this works, this could have been put in from 5 owners ago, and we have no one after the third person. No one knew,
right?
So they might have not. Because funny enough, right, when a lot of people buy guns, a lot of people don't actually run out and shoot that gun.
No,
they really don't. It's even myself.
Hold on, you're telling me that everybody doesn't have a range in their backyard?
No,
not even in Maine.
No.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's only 4 people in a moose in Maine, so there's plenty of space for you to go shoot.
I think
it's your fault.
I would love to, and I'll be honest with you. Behind where I live, there is a possible place, but the town I live in tells me I can't. I'm not gonna say the town, but angry face. That's what I would say.
That's why they invented suppressors, right? That was a joke.
It was a joke.
It was a joke.
But no, I fully agree with you. It's like I said earlier. If you would have said nothing about what we're going to be talking about today, or anything like that, and you put this down in front of me, and you said, "Brayden, what is that?" I'd be like, "Andrew, that's a Lot 17 with a red dot on it," and you'd be like, "Wrong."
Yes.
But if you set down this other Lot 17, right? You sit down being like, "Brayden, what is that?" But that's a Franklin Armory fast trigger, easily. I agree with you on it. I don't think that. I really hope nothing will change. But the biggest thing is, it's just like any other new piece of technology or anything like that, right? When you get something like this, you need to learn it, understand it, train it. 100%.
Absolutely. And I would then extend this. So, if I'm going to have a call to action here, guys, I think realistically what I'm saying, or what I'm trying to imply is we got to be careful with these, because I don't want us to get into a situation where we're so rah, we have the right, let's put them in everything, that we have an oopsie or an accident.
Yeah.
Right? Don't want that to happen. For sure. However, I think it's any of this stuff, yes, you should learn it, but I also think it's a really good idea to get the other people in your household at least aware of the safety around it. That's something that other instructors have told me before. It's just like, hey, you're carrying all the time and you're carrying to protect your family. That's great, but you have a seizure, right? Never had it before, right? Maybe it's the first time in your life, maybe the only time in your life, right? Does your wife, your girlfriend, your brother, do they know how to take the gun off of you and be safe with it?
Yeah.
So I guess, beyond let's be concerned about these things and let's be safe with them and maybe reconsider some of them. Because, it's fun, but do you really need a TX-22 that can shoot that fast? I don't know. And again, I believe you have the right to own it, and if you want it, you should have it. But if you're going to do that, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe let other people in your house, maybe let your brother, your son, your nephew, your cousin, whatever. Just be like,
even
hey,
the people you shoot with
absolutely.
On a daily basis.
This is a weird new thing. Just so in case, you're using it or even picking it up or even just clearing the damn thing, that, there's a new thing. And much like I brought this and I was instructing other people in the company and how to find it and how to identify it, right? Maybe that's what we have to do as well.
Yeah.
We have to make this so prevalent and the knowledge of it that that becomes standard, testing the trigger. Now, as I think I said on our last podcast, I don't love the idea of just automatically pulling the trigger to clear a firearm. I think it's a dumb thing.
Yeah.
But what did I have to do? I had to explain that, unfortunately, to determine that a not descript on the outside, binary trigger is a binary trigger, you kind of have to dry fire it. And then you have to hold it down, and you have to let it reset, and then you have to, I guess, dry fire it again by letting it release. Now, on a normal gun, it wouldn't actually fire again, but you get my point. Maybe that becomes the standard. I don't know.
It's neat.
It is neat. You know what else we could just do? We could just repeal the entire NFA. The machine guns are legal. And then just everybody's, and then we won't have to play these games with a hidden binary. We'll just have an actual switch on everything we buy.
Yeah, but then California will be all upset. They'll be like, boo-hoo, boo-hoo.
Well, yeah, but
boo-hoo, Mr. ATF, please save us, boo-hoo. Sorry, I fucking hate California so much.
Well,
sorry, I didn't mean to swear either, but...
Well, I'm sorry if you live in California. Interestingly enough, I've met a lot of gun people from California.
That's the thing. There's so many gun people in California, but they stay there. I don't get it.
Well, not everybody... Okay, so I've been to California more than a couple times. If it wasn't for the politics, I would spend the rest of my life there. The mountains are gorgeous. I mean, the beaches don't suck like they do in New England.
Yeah.
Like... It's a great place to be. But there's people there. I don't really like those people.
Yeah.
And they, frequently don't believe that I should, exist. So, because I disagree with them.
But even Taryn Tactical, he's based out of California.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. When you work in the industry, you get exemptions. I mean, even here in Maine, right? I get to do things and take things home and test things that other people don't get to play with.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we have a non-transferable dealer saying we have a Glock switch, a legitimate machine gun Glock in the shop. Totally legal for us. We're an SOT.
Yeah.
Right? We can have that. We did it the right way, and it's on the books. It's all above board.
Yeah.
Average person can't have that.
No.
So I try to be super cognizant of the fact that it's like, yeah, it's so great, Taryn Tactical, but if he didn't have the in to some of the films he's been in, then as legislation changed, I think there probably wouldn't be so many carve-outs for his type of training facilities as there are. Not that I know the intricacies of Taryn Tactical or whatever, and I own at least one of their firearms, and I like their products. So I'm not going to, begrudge them doing business there. I mean, it's a gorgeous place to be, but it sucks. I hate exceptions to rules, right?
Yeah.
I hate the idea that there's this different set of rules for law enforcement, right? Different set of rules for FFLs, I don't like taking advantage of that, even when it benefits me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't live in. Wouldn't live there.
Plus, it's expensive.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. It's nice living in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you can't shoot, out your back. Well, you can't shoot.
I can't shoot.
But
I know a guy.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah. He's got a range in his yard though. But the only problem is that you drive all the way up there and he puts you to work. He doesn't pay you, and and he gives you the day off like he's doing you a favor, even though he doesn't pay you. But no.
Oh yeah, is this a good time to put in my vacation time or?
Unfortunately, we've got a lot of blackout dates.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All of them.
Oh, sick.
All of the days that end in Y, you can't take a vacation.
Good thing I was planning for one day. Shit, no, so with Y.
All right, well, it's been a full day at the shop, and then quite a bit of us trying to cut some video together. So I think it's a probably good stopping point. I have been Andrew. This has been
Brayden.
This has been the ExtraAmo podcast. Y'all stay safe out there, and if you are gonna be doing the binary or super safe or forced reset trigger thing, just put a little thought into it, right? Consider that maybe these things could come back to haunt us a little bit, and I don't want any ammunition being given to the other side for any restrictions to these things. So I think we're just gonna be responsible.
It's probably good, reach out, talk to your local gun shops, get their opinions, what they say.
Sure. If they're cool.
If they're cool.
Some gun stores are like not that cool.
Yeah.
Like our store is the coolest, but
that is true.
It's
That
because
is true.
it's because of the people, not like
I am pretty sick. All right.
Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.